Hi guys, Fabio Palvelli here with a brand new video. On this channel, every week I share a little bit of my life on video and I try to bridge the gap between design and business. So if this is your first time here, please do consider subscribing. This week on my channel I have Dot Lung. Dot is a young entrepreneur that has started a social media company that helps businesses growing their presence online. Now, surprisingly for a lot of artists, social media is still sort of like a taboo. It is a tool that artists know and understand, but that very often they don't use it in the best of their capacities to position themselves and to showcase their work to potential clients. Anyway, this is a fun conversation. Dot is a very remarkable person, and I'm pretty sure that if you're trying to improve the way you portray yourself using social media, you might find a lot of value in this conversation. Anyway, as always, enough of me blah blah blah. Enjoy this video. Hi guys, welcome back to my show. Today I'm with Dot Lung, the mother of social media dragons.
Hello everyone.
Dot, for anyone who is listening from home, why should they be watching this episode of my show?
Oh, we're gonna talk about lots of stuff, lots of awesome social media tips and tricks, and really diving in on what it takes to be a social media dragon. And if you don't know what a social media dragon is, that means you definitely need to watch what's going on here.
I love your, I love everything about you. The way you are, your energy, the way you brand yourself online, which, branding is something that I really want to ask you a lot of things about, especially because of some recent posts that I've seen from you, which actually, I have to say, this is a very good way to reframe the idea of personal branding for people. Actually, let's start with that, all right? You have posted something recently about, what it means to have a brand. Do you mind expanding a little bit on that?
Sure.
Because
actually, I was just in the middle of texting back someone that disagreed with me.
Oh, really?
It sparked quite a controversy, but basically I think you're referring to a quote that I quoted from Richard Moore, where he says, if we replace the word personal brand with the word reputation, it's basically, you're going to realize that everyone has it. Everyone. You and I, we all have our reputation, and that's what builds your personal brand. So, yeah, you can agree, disagree, but at the end of the day, everybody has a reputation, and that puts a positive or negative effect onto what your personal brand is online, which is basically just a fancy word for what your reputation is.
I'm totally with you, and the reason why I wanted to bring this up, it's because I see a lot of people that act online like if what they say did not have any repercussion, And it's like, do you realize that what you're doing, what you're saying, your opinions actually can have and can affect everything else about what you're trying to do from a professional point of view?
Well, everything you post online, that is stored for eternity.
It is. I've learned that the hard way. But anyway, in a nutshell, what is social media and why should artists pay attention to how to use social media?
Social media is simply a modern tool that we're using to communicate with one another. It's creating a connection with somebody that you find online, or somebody that you want to have a conversation with. And the purpose of social media is really to connect communities, connect people, and make human one-to-one connections. And that's as simple as it is. It's not to use to get famous or to get yourself more attention, but many people use it for that, and many people use it in a fantastic way to grow their business as well. And that could be artists or e-commerce stores, but it's a fantastic way to actually have your message reach out into the world.
It is a little bit difficult though to understand that because I see it also with my own clients. Sometimes the reason why they get interested in, say, social media, it's because they see it as a way to get attention. And the attention they just see it as a positive when it's a lot of attention. So they want a lot of followers, they want their posts to be engaged with people. Is, more always better?
I see where you're going here. Is bigger better? Well, honestly, in my opinion, it's all, related. So yes, if you do have more followers and more people engaging with your content will naturally get seen to more people, if that's your objective, to have mass. Personally, I think less is more, and I always believe in quality over quantity. I'd rather have a few really amazing friends or amazing followers or people that are in my community than a million less quality people that aren't relevant to what I'm doing or I have no connection with. I'm all for supporting deep and intimate connections, because that's when you can actually really feel the power of community and like minds getting together. So there's no bigger is better, or quality over quantity. I mean, do what suits what you want and what suits you. For me, I prefer quality over quantity, but for some people, they might want to go for more reach over quality.
Yes.
Which is let's post 10 posts a day and get 1 million followers and make our stuff go viral. Really, even for me, when I started my business on Instagram, I had no more than a couple thousand followers at all, and I was already working with my dream clients, and it's not about
let's talk a little bit about you. What is your business? Because I know it, but maybe the people from home, they don't.
So I'm a social media consultant. I help brands and people create their social media brand and strategy, and help them communicate and show off online, and hopefully basically help their bottom line. And I've been doing this for 8 years professionally. I've been on Facebook for 15 years, so I've been on the platform since the very beginning. And I took it seriously when people started paying me to grow their Instagram accounts. I didn't know that this could be a business or a future job. I just, was desperate for work, and it became my thing. And now I grow Instagram accounts for some of, the biggest new media design communities and brands, such as my pet project Digital Design Days, which is happening October 10th, 11th, and 12th. It's a global meeting point for digital designers to come, connect, network, and be part of the community and see what's happening with the future of digital and design. So I love to empower the creative people and basically get your work seen. If you're an artist, or if you're creative, if you're a musician, if you're a dancer, I'm starting to work with some dancers, but anything that is artistic, creative, I want to hear from you, and I want to see your work, and I want to help you get to where you want to go, because I truly believe that creative people and designers are the ones making our future. They're creating it, one pixel at a time, or however you want to put it. And I want to support the people that are creating our future so that we can make an amazing future together. And that's why I do what I do.
Now, let me just ask you out of curiosity, because I'm pretty sure that people might be asking themselves this question also. When you say I help people growing Instagram accounts, it's never really you hire me and this is going to be the number afterwards. There must be sort of a process where people need to understand how certain things work in order to grow an account. It cannot be just I deliver you 5,000 followers, right?
Well, there are people and companies that do that. Instagram marketing agencies, they will deliver a number but not really create your communication strategy and longevity plan, because social media isn't a race to get to the top, it's a marathon. And so what we like to do is really build out your entire communication plan and brand of how it's going to look like in, at the end of 6 months, at the end of 1 year, and in 2 years and 3 years, because you're going to have your social media forever. So why not plan it properly from the very beginning with the fundamentals and, really basics of how you're going to brand yourself or your company. And to do, to really kind of help our clients figure out and see what their personal brand or what their campaign will be about on social media. I've created this thing called the Dragons Formula. And that's why they call me the mother of social media dragons. It is because I love Game of Thrones, but also the Dragons Formula is a way to think about creating social media content and how to think about your brand and how you're going to position yourself when you decide to launch and show yourself to the world. And each letter in the word dragon represents one of the elements of how to really create a strong social media plan or social media content strategy. And so it literally took me, I'll tell you the truth, like 7.5 years to come up with the Dragons Formula, because I've been working and practicing social media for 8 years professionally. And I, am always asked to teach at various universities. I do talks all around the world. I've traveled to 33 countries so far, teaching people how to do Instagram and how to create a social media strategy. And I finally, this year, August? So in February, I came up with the official way of how I will teach people how to do social media. And that's with the Dragons Formula. D is for dialogue, R is for relatability, A is for authenticity, G is for giving value, O is for having an opinion, and N is for niche. So that spells out dragon, and then there's a secret Dragons Formula with the S is for scaling your social media plan, and ultimately selling and getting a return on all of your investment. But I don't know if I told you that before. Did you know about the Dragons Formula?
I saw something where you were interviewed and
okay.
You talked about it, and you in these interviews you said that you were going to talk about this, but I did not know the.
So this is kind of the newest thing that I'm up to, which is creating a safe learning space for baby dragons to really be nurtured by the type of social media plans and communities that we're trying to build, and help them along the way to become their own social dragons. And a social dragon is somebody that is able to attract their dream clients. They don't complain about the algorithm because they know how to outsmart it using the Dragons Formula. And a social dragon knows how to really leverage the power of networking and word of mouth marketing. And it all sounds pretty basic and like traditional, because it's not rocket science.
Yeah.
Okay, this is something that I've been doing for the last 8 years, and I'm teaching other people how to do it, because it's really just the basic of building your own reputation and your personal brand. And just because we have social media now in the last decade, that it's been more and more important to do this online. So
let me ask you, do you think it's enough to rely completely on the image that you can build by yourself on social media when it comes to positioning, or is there other stuff that you need to make sure you have offline that
I think it's important to have both. There are people that have built completely digital vertical brands, and that's fantastic. I personally like to leverage offline as much as I do online. It's a little bit of balancing both. But then again, this is probably biting myself on the hand here, but you don't need to have like an amazing online presence to have an amazing business. So it's just been like recently where everyone's like, oh, you need to like be on social media, you need to have YouTube, and you're gonna, you know, have a 6-figure business or whatever these marketing people are talking about. But our parents are, you know, our entrepreneurs, a generation above us, they didn't have social media, and they were completely fine.
I agree with you. I think that, you know, probably what society is doing, it's preparing itself for the next 10-15 years, where, because I see it, you know, like even when I go for consultations with my clients, a lot of the especially younger designers, they have lost the ability to communicate with one another in real life.
Yeah.
It's worrying to me, you know, and sometimes, you know, when I say this, people look at me like if I was some sort of like weirdo that I would talk to another person, you know, in the office to discuss a project or something. But actually, I do see an issue with like younger generations in kind of having honest, open relationships. And I don't know if this is what we have done as a society, that we have built all these, you cannot say that, and you cannot talk like this. So, you know, in a way, it's better to just remove the person out of the equation and just do everything by a message. You know what I mean?
Oh my gosh, yeah. I mean, children these days don't even leave their house to want to go to the movie theater. Mm-hmm. They prefer to be socializing on Fortnite or on these internet games. Sorry, I don't know much about that, but they much prefer to hang out with each other through a digital platform like games than meet each other in person and go to the movie theater like you and I used to do. That was like the best thing about, you know, the weekend, is that we can hang out with our friends like at the mall or in person at the movie theater. But now they'd rather stay home because socializing is taking place on social media platforms, whether they're games or Facebook or Instagram. We are connecting with people on a digital space. I mean, even you and I connected first on Facebook, by the way, yeah. Before we actually met in person. So, I mean, I think, yes, you are right. Like maybe some of the newer generation is feeling a little bit disconnected, and they don't have like the soft skills to make real life human connections because they don't practice it. You know, I even know for myself, like I was a very shy person, and I had to like practice being outgoing and practice talking to people and selling myself. And that's something, yeah, maybe in the future these younger kids are only going to know how to do it digitally.
Do you think we will ever revert back to what it used to be? Because there's been speculations that, you know, like...
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so.
It's a little bit scary though,
we
you
have
know?
too much technology.
Yeah.
I think there are people that maybe don't touch any of this like technology, and they don't like engage. Because, for example, one of my best friends, she doesn't have Facebook, Instagram. She doesn't communicate on any social media platform because she wants to be invisible. She's an artist. She actually is working on Quentin Tarantino's film right now, or Suicide Squad 2. Like she's an artist, and she works on amazing films in Hollywood, and she doesn't want people to know her name. So that's kind of interesting. Like I am a total social media digital freak, and I put my whole life out there. Yeah. And my best friend, since we were 5 years old, she doesn't want to have any of her. So I think like it comes with education and being aware of what you choose and choose not to do and participate online. And I think that's important for parents to, you know, share with their children, you know, what it is like to play on the playground and do things that we used to do.
I met a couple of like parents which, you know, said at home we have this no phone policy. So it's like, you know, when they come home, they just nothing. And, you know, it's like, I can understand that, you know, if you have, like in my case, I depend on my phone because, you know, like if you don't answer a client within an hour, what happened to you? You know, where are you?
Check my phone right now.
But it's like, slowly I'm trying to enforce this, like social media, I don't do it in the weekend. After 6, I try not to look at my phone anymore. So, small things.
Yeah, well, by the way, we're filming this in Israel, in Tel Aviv, where every Friday they have Shabbat, and that's where you're literally supposed to unplug your phone.
Yes, it's true.
And not touch anything related to work. And
did it weird you out to be at first?
Well, I kind of really love the idea. Okay. I love the idea. I love the concept, and I'm trying to adopt this. It's very hard, but I think it's so necessary for our generation, where we're constantly connected 24 hours a day. And when do we unplug? So we need to like make it, schedule it in our calendar. Like, do not touch your phone for 8 hours or however long your Shabbat is.
No, you're totally right. And I think that, to a certain extent, when this becomes so prominent in your life, it really has the same effects as, overeating or drinking too much, or, because you get so taken by the activity that, there were times where I realized I could not have a longer than 5-second conversation with my wife, because, you're talking and then...
Well, my boyfriend and I, we sometimes only communicate through WhatsApp, and they're just in the room next door. It's like, what does that mean?
Yeah, I don't know. It's like, you're right there. I just want to look into your eyes. You know what I mean? But anyway, for any designer that is thinking to like grow their brand online and kind of like, use that and convert it into, clients or paying leads, what would your steps be? You've been working with designers.
So I just want to say I recently was connected to a pretty major client here in Israel that I'll probably be working with, and that was through our Instagram. And I wasn't even looking for new clients, but people are always referring me, because they know my reputation, they know who I work with, they've seen my work. So that's my brand out there, and people are doing my marketing for me. Yeah. And they're, always referring me to new clients, like, oh, you should meet Dot, da 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 da. And this is what social media has helped me build. Like, just, like I said, I thank my lucky stars every day, because I never knew that I would be able to live abroad and live in Spain for 8 years, and now move to Israel and have a business online where I don't need to be in an office every day 9 to 5, even though I'm working probably way more. So to get to where I am today, it literally started for me all on Facebook and Instagram. I don't think I would have been able to work with the caliber of clients and people in my life if it wasn't for me putting myself out there on social media. And it was very daunting at first, because my family's on there, and they're conservative Asian immigrants to America. They think I'm batshit crazy, that I would leave California and move to Spain and Israel and do all the crazy things I do. And I know, I'm so scared of my family judging me. Anybody in the world can judge me, but the worst is when it comes from your own family judging you. So there are so many mindset shifts that you have to really overcome before you can fully put yourself out there. And I'll tell you, even though I seem like I'm totally confident, there are some things that I still would never talk about online or share yet, because I'm not at that level. I will get there, but it's a work in progress for me. Mm-hmm. And I think, especially as a creative and other artists and designers that are out there, it's hard to even put your portfolio out there. Yeah. Okay, I wanted to be a designer before I got into social media, but I realized that I didn't have, the patience, and I couldn't learn the tools well enough to become a designer, and I'm much better at, design direction than actually creating anything. And even when I did try to create stuff, I would never share my work online. Oh my gosh, I would never. I was too shy and like too scared for people to criticize me about my work because I knew it wasn't like my best work. But guess what? You're never going to get anywhere if you don't share even, you know, your work in progress or, you know, your work that you're starting out with. And it's so important to just put yourself out there and know what your limitations are. So I know there's like certain topics that I won't, you know, touch in my communication because I, you know, don't want to get into that, or these are the things that I am going to share and become an expertise at. So depending on what you want to be publishing on social media, you can build yourself up as an expertise just based on the content that you put out there.
The content must be only like graphical, technical content, or can it be also, say, sharing your opinion, sharing your...
Yeah, let's talk about that. So if we take a look at how the Dragon formula works, D is for dialogue. So first establishing what you're going to be talking about. What do you want your community to be saying about you and conversing with when you're not there? But really directing every, you know, month, every week, what type of conversations you want to be having with your community or with the community that you want to be building. So dialogue could be, you know, instigating conversations, taking polls, questionnaires, what are the topics of the week, okay? And then R is for relatability. So how are you going to make your dialogue and whatever you post on social media relatable to your audience or relatable to the community that you want to build? Relatability is the number one factor that leads to high engagement or more likability. So if you want a lot of likes on your content, you need to make your content relatable. The more relatable, the more likes. It's a direct correlation. Like I can show you tons of data that shows that. And then the question is, how do you make yourself relatable? Using emotion. We are all humans here. So the more that you can connect on an emotional level with another human being, that's going to make them push the like button. And when they push that like button and the more likes you get, it makes your content more relevant. And relevancy is one of the elements in the algorithm that keeps your content in the newsfeed. So the longer your content is in the newsfeed, the more opportunities you will get even more likes. So that is why relatability is directly correlated with likability, and we have to make sure we want to aim to make, you know, our content relatable. If your goal is high engagement. Maybe you don't want to be high engagement, then don't be relatable at all.
Be an asshole. Let me ask you then this question. Artists usually, when they do work and they publish it online, they do it on, let's say, an emotional level, right? They fall in love with what they're looking that they made and they want to put it online. And I like that because it's like, you know, every day you're doing something that makes you happy. But clients on the other end, they react differently from, say, other artists. So on one end, you might be like becoming relevant for the artist community. How do you then translate that relevance for the art community into clients and value for the clients? Because then the clients might come to you and say, yeah, it's all good, but, you know, we're only going to pay you this much. You know what I mean? It's because, like, okay, I should have given you an introduction about the field of architectural visualization. But in architecture visualization, and from what I hear also in graphic design, it's becoming like this. Because there are so many assets and because there are so many things which are already pre-made, a lot of artists that work in production, they end up doing very similar works and they end up attracting clients that call them because they say, hey, I've seen something that it's very similar to what I usually like and I would like to work with you. But, you know, there is a huge availability of this kind of artists. So it's very difficult to put a price tag you know?
I'll answer this question with the next letter in the Dragon's formula, which is A for authenticity. And I think it's a great example of when you're an authentic artist, or if you're, a copying artist, there's always the original Louis Vuitton bag, and then there's the fake Louis Vuitton bag. And the difference between those are that one is original and one is authentic. So when you are the authentic voice, you are the originator, you can demand a high price. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I understand what you mean. No, probably you said one is the original and one is the authentic. You probably meant one is the authentic and one is the copy?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
Sorry.
Exactly.
That's what I was thinking.
And so with authenticity, actually, like when I teach authenticity, that's really just staying true to your unique values and your unique perspective, and sharing how you actually create your work.
Obviously, this becomes a bigger battle to fight because most clients, then they get used to what they already know. And, I think it's almost like natural that then artists try to do the thing that clients already want. I think in a way, it's a bit like a cat that bites its own tail, Yes. But I get what you're saying, and I think that, in a way, we still need to educate artists to aim for authenticity.
Yes, absolutely. That's the only way you're going to set yourself apart from the competition.
Yeah.
The only way. And because there's plenty of fakes out there, so really think about what makes you different and share that with the world. Because everyone else is already taken.
Yeah.
The only opportunity that you have is to be your unique unicorn.
Yes. No, you're totally right. And the thing is that you really see it. Like, of some of the artists that I follow, even though they get copied like massively, every few weeks, every few months, they release something that it's unique and that it has never been seen before.
There you go.
Even if it's like a remix of something that has already been done, they still do it in a way that others don't, And I think that sometimes artists get lazy, or maybe they get afraid of like trying something new because they fear that they might get judged.
Of course.
I don't know.
We all do.
Yeah.
It's like human nature. To get outside your comfort zone, that is a challenge for everyone. I don't know everyone, but artists especially.
Okay, so let me ask you one thing. I mean, what do you have, 27,000 followers on Instagram?
Yes. Yeah.
How do you deal with haters?
We love them. We were discussing this
I know.
Dinners. Like, listen, you're not going to get to 1 million followers without 100,000 haters. Yeah. So bring on the hatred, because the more haters you have, the more engagement, and the more that they're actually lifting up your content because they're giving it more relevancy, that people are having a controversy, and people are really having an opinion about how much they hate or love you. Having an opinion is one of like the O in Dragon. So if you are able to trigger controversy, it's one of the ways to get more attention on your work. So bring it on. We want to embrace our haters with so much love for our haters.
Yeah, I think that eventually the secret then is, how do you keep your sanity whilst people attack you? Because it's like, I think that the problem, at least that I've had, is that even if I know that a hater is just acting because maybe they're jealous because I'm doing something that they would like to be doing, but they don't manage to do it, I feel like, you get everything they tell you. You put yourself under the light and you're like, am I doing the right thing? Or am I really just doing something wrong? And I guess that if you're a normal person and not a psychopath, probably everybody would ask themselves these questions. Maybe I'm wrong.
So, first of all, what I've learned is you should never ever engage or even read your negative comments, because you don't need that negativity in your life. personally, I want to make social media a very positive environment. That's why I'm always sending out positive vibes, and I attract positive people. Your vibe attracts your tribe. Have you heard of that?
Yeah.
So it's absolutely true, and this is why authenticity is important as well, because if you stay consistently authentic and consistently putting out your honest vibes out there, you're going to attract the right people. And those haters are going to leave you alone because you have so much positivity, or so much vibe going out there that you're going to attract the right people that speak to you.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. If you don't stay authentic, if you're trying to be this fake person, or if you're not, that's not the long game. You're gonna, you're doing a sprint, and then you're gonna attract fake followers.
Yeah,
and
you're
that's
totally
how
right.
you get people to, follow you because you're, if you're fake, you get fake followers.
You change with the wind. Yeah.
And that's not a long-term strategy, and that's not having, a strong brand, strong branding for whatever, art or whatever that you're doing. And so controversy is not usually a good thing, but on social media, if you can, create polarizing content and start controversy, it gives you more relevancy and more reach.
I see what you're saying.
It's just a mathematical thing. That's how the algorithm works. So, if your content doesn't have people talking on it, then your content is not. Facebook thinks that's not interesting, so it's not going to show it. So
you mentioned Facebook, but I guess
Facebook,
it's the
Instagram,
same. Yeah.
All the above.
Which one do you think is probably at the moment the most relevant platform?
Honestly, right now Instagram is getting was popular, and now it's just getting even more and more popular because it's the fastest growing social media network. I think it's already exceeded 1 billion in just a few years, and I know all artists are addicted to it. It's almost just an addiction. But if you're creative and you want to do something different, I would suggest you to get on LinkedIn now and do video on LinkedIn, because LinkedIn needs video content right now. And if you are, an artist and you can put a couple slideshows even of your portfolio work, it's gonna be killer on there, because there's not so many creative people or artistic people on LinkedIn. It's all business people, so you'll really stick out, and that's where you want to be doing business. There's a lot of opportunity right now on LinkedIn.
I start already to see on LinkedIn those kind of hater people, and probably hater, it's a little bit of an extreme word, but people that just react to your content so what? And I'm
you just block them.
Yeah, that's the thing.
They're not quality followers.
But that's also the issue that people don't understand. I mean, LinkedIn, it's supposed to be the only place where if you want to have an online presence, you have to do it with a more professional attire, and people are taking the behavior that they have on other social media platforms and they're putting it on over there as well.
That's just their behavior, and that's who they are, and I don't put up with that. You don't need to involve those types of people in your awesomeness.
Yeah, you're right. Totally right. Keep your eyes on the road.
Yeah, stay in your lane and they stay in theirs.
Yeah,
it's not even a competition.
Yeah.
But hey, if it flies around, swat it.
Okay, if people want to find out a little bit more about you, where can they find you?
So I have an amazing website. It's dotlung.com, DOTLUNG. Had amazing designers work on it. We won 5 different awards from AW Awards and CSS Awards, so go check it out. I'm very, very proud of it. It's the first piece of design work that actually I put out there. Not my design, but definitely was part of the art direction, and very proud of it. And you can connect with me on every social media platform. I'm a huge Facebook user, so add me, like me, find me on Instagram, same DOTLUNG, and I'm also really active on LinkedIn, or trying to be. So send me a DM and let's chat.
Dot, thanks a lot for being here. I know that you had to come a long way to meet with me. I really hope that people from home, they will see some value in this. Obviously, not all designers are interested in this aspect of being in the digital world, but I guess that those who do relate to what you have said, they will find a lot of interesting work that you're doing on your social media platforms, especially on Instagram. I really like the posts that you're making. I think that they deliver very short, very effective messages. So
thank you. Yeah, I'm just starting that now. Gotta get back to work.
Yeah. Guys, thanks a lot for watching. I guess I'll see you next time. Bye.